Hey, everybody. You're listening to the Mixed Nuts Podcast. I'm Phil Hirsch, along with my pal Richard Marks, here to discuss what's going on in this mixed up world. So relax and sit back, grab a beverage, and a handful of mixed nuts. No telling where the conversation may go. Follow us on all social media and our YouTube channel, Mixed Nuts Nation. You have to be crazy to listen.
Good morning, everybody. This is Rich from the Mixed Nuts Nation podcast, and that's Phil.
That's, right here, Philip, in the flesh.
That is our special guest, Kerry Lutz. Kerry Lutz from the Financial Survival Network. Many of you must know him from. That's how I know of Kerry initially. God, Kerry, I think we met back in 2021, way back in the ether, right? And we had I remember having a meal with you with our friend Andy, and wow, lots transpired since then. I'll tell you, what a world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Kerry, just this past weekend or last Friday specifically, was brought to the public on a local television show where he has announced a federal lawsuit against a bunch of local municipalities, as well as you're going national with this, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm starting it local, but it will spread nationally once lawyers all over the country realize that all the signs that are up there are illegal and violate federal and state law. This will be, like flies on a you know what.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now naturally, what prompted this event was being victimized by this predatory parking third-party scam, right? That I've seen all over the place now. I mean, I particularly, I have one of those parking apps that you were referring to that people are forced to download to be able to park.
Yep.
I mean, I think I have Pango, and it's been reasonably uneventful when I've used it. It hasn't had any issues, but
Park
I do know
Mobile
what
for
you
me.
mean about those areas of parking it's ironic when you raise your issue and you came forward with your book, which we'll talk about as well. I had recently seen someone on the Facebook, probably in one of the Facebook groups in Deerfield Beach of all places, in the Cove. Are you familiar with the Cove down there?
Sure, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And apparently they have set up the same kind of, call it a grift or a scam, where they've got the signs up, but people are coming back to their cars and they still have time on the allotted amount that they purchased for. But they have a guy walking through just putting tickets on almost every car. And you find out that these guys are commissioned, they're compensated with commission. They have incentives to write as many tickets as they can. And they have the same kind of signage up. And people are confronting them saying, I've got time left. I can show you on my phone. They'll say, take it up with the township or take it up with the city.
Wow.
Ticket's already written. It's already in the system. And then you, of course, deal with the frustration. And most people will just go ahead and pay it because they don't have the time or the acumen as you do. And I'll leave it at that. And you can describe your feelings when this happened to you.
Well, let me just tell you first, the book, of course, is America's Great Parking Scam. You've Been Robbed. One of the things I've created the National Association of American Defrauded Parkers, the NAADP, not to be confused with the NAACP. We're not related. And I've also created a parking ticket self-defense kit, and it covers virtually every possible enforcement mechanism. Now, at the Cove, I am not sure if that is a private lot or a public lot. And that is important. And therefore, when you get a ticket, a lot of times when you get a ticket, it's not a ticket because you can only get a ticket for overstaying a meter or a violation on public grounds. Okay, you can't get a ticket for parking in a private parking lot. That is simply an invoice. And they're set up really clever to make you think that it's actually an official ticket. But let me see if I can find I can't find my original my original summons here, my original, uh, put it someplace. But anyways, I'll pull it up on the screen if I find it. So it'll say on it, City of Riviera Beach, City of Boca Raton. If it doesn't say that on the top, then forget about it. Now,
Mm.
my story is quite simple. I've been parking in the same spot, same area in Riviera Beach for 10 years, and I go on my walk in the morning. And one day I come back on November 19th, and there's a ticket on my car. And I said, what is this about? Like, no notice, no nothing. And um, I didn't even see any signs. I didn't really look that closely, but I decided to contest the ticket. Well, another illegality you have to go through this portal to pay the ticket
Mm.
and to contest it, called municipalviolations.com. And let me tell you, I am pretty darn computer savvy. It took me a good 5 minutes to figure out where to click to actually contest the ticket, because
Mm.
the whole way these scams function, it's called just pay and go away.
Mm.
That's what they expect you to do. And, people say, well, you can't fight City Hall. They have all the power. Well, there's a thing that I've created called the Dunleavy Doctrine. And that is that bureaucratic systems are at their weakest when they don't follow their own rules. And in this case, the signs are illegal. The way they did the contract is illegal. We can get into that. It's amazing. I'm looking into the parking industrial complex. I never had any desire to do it. And it's one big stinking rotten onion. And the more layers you peel away, the worse the stench gets from
Mm.
using private portals for adjudicating uh, tickets, using private mercenary ticket enforcement agents to write the tickets, which is kind of a gray area in Florida, probably illegal, using automatic license plate readers to
Mm.
actually uh, check the status of your ticket, um, of your parking session, tapping into DMV records, things like this, all highly questionable. Not all of them do all the same things, but let's take Park Mobile. Okay, that's the
Yep.
giant.
I have one of
And
them. Mhm.
and they brag how they are the largest processor of charges under $10 in the country,
Mm.
and they do like 100 million of them. Now their deal is, we'll give you the equipment, we'll give you the software, we won't even charge you any money, and we will take the convenience fee, which ranges, depending upon the city and how they negotiated it, 35 to 45 cents for Park Mobile. Pay by phone in Fort Lauderdale gets half a buck.
Mm.
So imagine that. You park, and there's very few pay stations left other than Boca Raton. Boca Raton kind of stands out because they made a half-assed effort to comply. But
Mm.
places like Delray, yeah, on the main street, you can find them. On the side streets, you can't find them.
Mm.
And so you're forced to use the app. In
Yeah.
Palm Beach, the town of Palm Beach, where President Trump lives, they proudly, on September 23rd of last year, said, we're getting rid of all payment stations. And the only way you can legally park in the town of Palm Beach is through the app.
Mm.
Now, I put in a public records request to Palm Beach, said, I want to see every single email as well as the contracts, because they haven't been made public. There's no requirement that they put a contract on their website. I think it's sound practice for them, and every contract should be there. And I'm hoping the Florida CFO will do something about that. But 3,400 emails about parking since 2020.
Mm.
What could they be talking about?
Right.
What is the big deal here? So that I'm waiting to see those emails. There could be a smoking gun there. I'm not saying there is, but Town of Palm Beach, you must download an app to pay for a public service. And incidental to downloading that app and paying for the public service, you got to pay a so-called convenience fee or service charge. So you have to pay for parking. That's what it comes down to. And when you download an app, and this is every app that you'll ever have downloaded and ever will, when you hit agreed or accepted, you have entered into a contract. All right. Now, every time you use the parking app to pay for parking, it's a new contract. Have to understand that. Well, in Florida, we have 360,000 some odd minors who are on the road and they park. And minors are basically do not have the capacity to enter into a contract. They can do it, but at any time before they reach
Under
18,
18, you say.
even a
Anyone under
certain
18.
amount of time after, they can
Yep.
void that contract. So understand they're using fake signs, bandit signs, rogue signs to deceive you into paying for parking under the threat of getting a citation or getting booted or towed or worse. So that's a deceptive practice under Florida laws. They don't have sovereign immunity for it because it's a commercial kind of enterprise. And for kids, it's even worse because when you click accept on that app, terms of service, that's the contract. They could call it whatever they want. Google calls it whatever they want. When you click it, you entered into a contract with them. You also consented to their privacy policy. And what does their privacy policy do for you? Well, their privacy policy says they can share your data with third-party companies. The data that they capture when you pay to park, your geolocation, your phone number, your license plate, your credit card, and other identifiers that are unique to your phone. You have a half a dozen different chips in there that provide identifiers. And what's worse is it creates a behavioral profile on you, tracks all of your stops, everywhere you've gone. You know, they know if you're going to your girlfriend, if you're paying for parking, and you're there for 45 minutes, Tuesday and Thursday, they know. And I don't want them knowing. Now, they do have ways that you can opt out, but they don't make it easy. They don't make it obvious. So in 2021, Park Mobile had a data breach, a little data breach. Only 21 million people data got, got nailed. And they wound up having a class action, settled it for 32 million. So just want to say one other thing. Now, Riviera Beach, when they entered into this contract with their vendor, they piggybacked onto an existing contract with Delray Beach. Now, let me explain the little intricacies and the vagaries of Florida municipal procurement. If a city puts out a bid for contracts, an RFP, and it's fully vetted and they consent, other municipalities can enter into a contract with that vendor without the contract being let out for bid. Now, as you might imagine, this is a Pandora's box that can lead to all sorts of nefarious things. Now, the one thing when you piggyback on a contract is it must be substantially similar to the original contract. Well, guess what? Riviera Beach, I don't know if they don't understand the word substantially, or they don't understand the word similar, or they don't understand both of them. Probably the case. Riviera Beach, you have to understand Florida politics history. They have a rich history of corruption, of subpoenas, of FBI raids, and they're under investigation constantly. So you would think somebody in the town has a brain and says, this don't look good. We have a lot of citizen resistance. The reason I've gotten the media coverage there is because the merchants are up in arms. And so they didn't properly piggyback. Anybody wants, send Rich an email. I'll explain to you the intricacies of it. I don't want to bore you guys with it. But so that's what I say. It's a big rotten onion. And every time you peel away a layer, it stinks to high heaven.
Mm.
There's a code called the MUTCD, which I don't have it here. I left it in my car. 1,200 pages thick, covers every single aspect of traffic control devices. Got to understand what a TCD, traffic control device, is. It is a sign, a light, a marking on a curb, on streets. Everything is governed by the MUTCD. Everything. And every state has had to adopt it in order to receive federal highway funds. And in their adoption, Florida went beyond what you had to go beyond to adopt it. They have statute. I don't want to bore you with a bunch of statute numbers, but these two are very important. They have FS 316.0475, paragraph 3, paragraph 4. Don't ask me which is which because I don't remember and I'm not going to look it up right now. But one says that that the town is not or city is not allowed to enforce a ticket or issue a ticket unless a valid traffic control device is properly placed and legible. So we don't have proper traffic control devices because they're bandit signs. They don't conform. You know what a regular sign looks like. You've been seeing it your whole life. It's a white background, red letters, red border around the sign. No parking anytime. No parking Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. You know what a permissive sign looks like. Green lettering, white background, green border, 2-hour parking, payment required, Monday through Friday, 9 through 9, whatever it is. You know the signs. Those are the signs that are in the book. Those are the signs that basically Florida cities, towns stopped using over a decade ago. I found a picture. And the best thing is, and I will share this if you let me do it right now.
Sure.
Okay.
Super cool.
Okay, I'm going to share this, and it's right. Let me give you a little context.
Yeah.
It's right opposite the courthouse where I filed my lawsuit. Why would you do this? Let's see.
Oh, we look forward to seeing the cover too of your
Oh,
book.
yeah,
That's going to be epic. Yeah.
We could do that.
Absolutely.
Let's
In
see
between
that.
the sharing or during the sharing, whatever.
There it is. We got it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
Check this out. Okay. That is the Paul G. Rogers Federal Courthouse located in West Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. That's where I filed my action. And the coolest thing about filing that action was I had that as an exhibit to my complaint. Let's see. I'll just show you the complaint if I can find me a copy of it. This is the complaint. 80 pages. Okay.
Wow.
80 freaking pages. I'm sorry. That's 2 copies. The pictures are there. All the pictures from every city. So I go in there, file the complaint. I believe the clerk made copies of the pictures of the courthouse. Now, let me tell you what's wrong with this picture. There's something wrong with this picture, right?
See meters.
Yeah, there's just meters. There are no signs. The MUTCD says if you got a parking zone, you got to mark it with what they call regulatory signs, R7s in technical parlance. And the R7's got to show it. But on the street here, on this picture, and let's see if we can find another one. This picture right by the courthouse.
No signs.
Do you see a sign?
None.
Yeah.
Just meters.
The only signs you see are actually on the courthouse property in their parking lot, which is for employees anyway, but they have handicap parking. So
and there's a blue and white sign there too, in between those trees, right there.
Yeah, that's the sign that says the Paul G. Rogers. Let's see if I can
courthouse
a little bit. So Paul G. Rogers U.S. Courthouse.
Oh yeah,
Actually, it's a better perspective here. You can see If you look at the parking meters, they have stickers on them.
Yep.
All right. There's a park mobile sticker there, and then there's a hours. But like, there's a little thing called the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act.
Yep, 1990.
How is a disabled person who can't see over their steering wheel going to see that?
Mm.
You have to stop the car and violate the rule in order to find out how to comply with it. So it's a violation of the ADA. And it, like I say, what did I tell you about the onion? You know, the onion gets worse and worse and worse. Now, let's see if we can find some other pictures.
So for those listening, have any doubt, Kerry is are you a practicing attorney still, or I know you consider yourself sort of retired.
I'm America's top recovering attorney.
There you go.
Oh, I love that.
All right. You mentioned Deerfield Beach, Rich?
Yep.
Yes.
Been there before.
That's Deerfield Beach.
Wow.
All right. That is effed. All right. I don't want to curse, but this is ridiculous. This is on the street. The sign is mounted improperly rather. It's parallel to the road. All parking signs must be visible from oncoming traffic. That means the sign cannot be parallel to the road. Got to be perpendicular or at least angled. All right. You've got like disabled parking. It's confusing as all hell. You don't know what it means. Yeah, but they do have a kiosk there. So, you know.
And two different codes. You notice there's 8531 for disabled parking, and then the regular zone's 8503.
Right. So, like, who knows what this thing means?
Yeah.
I'll show you some more pictures. Palm Beaches are the most fun. Well, here's the original one.
Right.
This is Riviera Beach. Does that look like a parking sign to you? It doesn't look like any parking sign I've ever seen. Right?
It just looks like someone with their hand out looking for money.
Yeah. And guys, they got to be 7 feet high, the signs. Look at that. Wow. I am not 7 feet tall. Okay. Wow. The code that Florida proudly adopted says 7 feet from the ground in pedestrian areas. And it also covers, this is crazy. It also covers government owned lots, potentially garages. They have a little bit of leeway.
So, Kerry, did you have any like background or any case law where you had anything related to this in your career that you had sort of some muscle memory that you could draw upon to like know the minutia of all these various things?
I didn't know any of this. I've used AI to help educate myself, and I've read the statute. I consider myself a systems expert. I've designed systems, complicated systems for tracking stuff. That's all this is. It's just a computer system with different peripherals. So I'm an expert in computer systems. I've mastered thousands of apps since the birth of the PC. Now, let's look at this one. Delray Beach, Florida. All right. They appropriate the curb for private use after 5 o'clock. But there's a problem here. You see that sign that says valet parking only? That's not in the MUTCD. It's not in the Florida manual that adopts the MTC. It's called the Green Book. It doesn't exist. So they've created this sign, and it's a real problem for them because that sign doesn't exist. And I have an attorney general's opinion back from 2004 when the city of Cape Coral wanted to put no through street signs to keep people out of streets. And they asked the attorney general, can we do this? Can we enforce? And the attorney general said, you're bound by the MUTCD. You cannot create any signs, nothing. And that sign, it's so insulting in so many different ways. The other sign next to it is almost right, except it doesn't give the time and the days of enforcement. Every parking sign must give the date and times of enforcement. So
aren't they, by doing the valet park, aren't they basically appropriating public
hell
space?
Yeah.
And
Wow. You got it.
They're infringing upon, the public domain and just like taking it as their own property.
Yeah, one thing I want to make clear to you, the reason the MUTCD exists is so that if you are in Guam or you're in Puerto Rico or any place in between, If you see a sign, you know what it means instantly.
Yeah.
Like when you have signs that don't make sense, people slow down to read them. Accidents happen as a
Yes, they do.
result of these signs.
Yeah.
Uniformity equals safety. Non-uniformity equals danger. All right. And here, I'll give you the sanitized cover of the book. This is the one I filed with the court. I can't really file a finger with the court. It's kind of cool. But
Yeah.
but that's that. And that if you scan that, it's parkscam.com. It brings you to the website where you can get the book. I've just finished my parking ticket self-defense kit. I'll probably sell that separate. I'm only doing this to finance the lawsuit. I mean, I put thousands out of pocket already. I know it'll come back to me. I'm not worried about it. Let's look at another Delray creation. All right. You see that sign? Rideshare only, pickup drop off, and it's got times. At least it's got times.
At least has the times. Yeah.
Yeah. But it conflicts with the sign below it, which says armored vehicle parking only. Neither of those signs exist in the MUTCD. You cannot have a red sign with white lettering. Okay. It's got arrows at least. So at least you know the area that it's covered because the arrows are very important. But this is what we're up against. Let me just find. This is one of my favorites. This is
Park
the
Mobile.
town of Palm Beach. Yeah. Is this a parking sign or is it an ad for an app? The MUTCD says no logos, no advertising, no brands, no trademark, anything. In addition to which, it's a blue sign. All right. Blue signs are strictly what you call informational and advisory. So let me tell you our slogans here. I'm channeling the late, great Johnny Cochran. Okay. If the sign is blue, it can't tell you what to do. All right. Also, you have this thing called retroreflectivity so that the sign, you can see it. It's totally illuminated by ambient light at night. So we say, if the sign don't glow, the ticket's got to go.
Go. Love it.
And then, basically it's show me the sign and I'll show you the crime.
There you go.
Because
I love these slogans. My God.
I'm channeling the late, great Johnny Cochran.
Yep.
Now, like,
If it
what's
doesn't
got to
fit,
understand?
you
What's
must
that?
quit. Remember that? If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. So
Some of the best acting OJ did since Naked Gun, I got to say. It was. Yeah.
Well, when he slipped that glove on during the trial and it didn't fit, he was like shocked himself. Like it dawned on him, hey, I'm going to get away with this.
Yeah.
Well, they're not getting away with this because under Florida statute 316.0475, I think it's paragraph 4, it says that no city is permitted to purchase a non-compliant TCD. None. And no vendor is allowed to manufacture or sell a non-compliant TCD. If a vendor does it, it's a misdemeanor. No one's going to jail for this stuff, I don't think.
Right.
But the vendor can be debarred, prevented from doing business with any city and the state of Florida for up to 5 years. So this is serious stuff here. This is the ultimate bastardized sign that you have no idea what it means. Passenger loading zone only 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. No attended vehicles allowed anytime, tow-away zone. And then it says above it, parking 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Like, do you get what that sign means?
Even to try to figure that out.
Yeah. And if you're driving, good luck. You'll have to stop.
Yeah, the AI can't figure it out.
Yeah.
If the AI can't figure out what your damn sign means, how do you expect? So here's a close-up of the town of the city of Palm Beach. This is your notice, right? That's your notice right there, 4-hour max. I mean, where's the sign, guys? And that's throughout the entire city.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, here you go. Here's the unsanitized version, the full cover, front and back.
Well,
And
it's like Kerry, like you said, with a lot of these places, like, they have to buy the services. Well, chances are, when we made a reference to some of the corruption, the history of corruption, these are probably deals that were done, with, the right people, and
Oh
they
yeah.
didn't actually sell these. They probably were offered complimentary to be
yeah,
able to do this business. So that
Mm.
that way they avoided having the conflict of interest there, or at least the appearance of having purchased.
yeah, not exactly, but I know
No?
what you're saying. It's even if you don't get money for it, you're giving it in consideration of a contract. So you sold it. Now look
Mm.
at this sign. Remember, I told you retro reflectivity is the
Yeah.
key?
Right.
Well, this sign's not retro reflective. What do you see on that sign?
Wow, I see a lot
It's
of
reflective.
It's glare. You're
Glare.
seeing
Glare, I
glare
mean.
because it's not like
Yeah.
these things. 3M, I think, created the retro reflectivity
Huh.
standard for the industry.
Yeah.
So this is exactly why you have retro reflectivity, so that the sign doesn't reflect glare. It
Mm.
only absorbs light and glows. That's why if it doesn't glow, it's got to go.
Love it.
So anyway, I just laid out my whole case.
Oh,
The app
can
store.
I just want to add one more thing to this.
Sure.
This is just fascinating stuff, by the way. I can't tell you how many times where I have tried to park my car using either Park Mobile or one of these other apps, because I have a couple of them. And you punch in the number and the number isn't even recognized by the app.
Correct.
And that
Okay.
also is insanity. Then you got to keep driving around. Oh my God.
I got a story about that.
Please
Okay.
do
I
elaborate.
got a story about that in the city, I guess, of Pompano. You can't
Oh.
tell. So some of these are cities, but they should be towns.
Mhm.
Others are towns, but they should be cities.
Yep, absolutely.
Pompano. I go up. I'm meeting somebody for lunch. I park my car at the curb. I go on whatever app they're using. I've been using the app for years.
Mhm.
Try to use it. Guess what? It says payment rejected. I try
Whoa.
another credit card. Payment rejected. I try 3.
How'd that happen?
I said, the hell with this. Their app's not working properly. Let them give me a ticket. So I go out to eat, come back. There's a ticket on the car. I write them a nasty letter saying, fix your damn app.
Yep.
3 different credit cards. I never hear back from them saying your ticket's dismissed, but I never get dunned for an outstanding ticket, which means they silently trash the ticket. Now, I've had friends have this happen and they pay the ticket. So remember, you can fight City Hall. In this day and age, you can't not fight City Hall. You have to fight them because otherwise they do stuff like this. Oh,
Yeah.
let me just show you one other pic that I think that needs to be explained a little bit. Actually, there's a few of them, but I'll show you this.
Okay. I've been lucky too on a few jobs I've done. I work in the entertainment industry, and every so often, my client will pay for parking. So I don't have to worry. Even if I have to pay, I get reimbursed. Oh, yeah. This one I've seen
See
too.
this?
Yeah.
This is called a Christmas tree. All right. And it's illegal on multiple levels. Number one, none of these signs are R7s. All right. That sign there, fee required, is an auxiliary sign. It's not a regulatory sign. It's there to provide information that clarifies the main sign. This sign, meter, is not a traffic control device. This one here, less than is an informational sign. This sign is an advertising sign.
Again,
You look
with
at
the
it.
logo.
Yeah, it's logos. It's loaded with them. I'll show you one that's really gone off the deep end with logos.
Okay.
This, look at that. Do you know what the hell that means? Miami Beach?
Oh my God. And they have 2 of them. There's 2, you have Park Mobile and Pay by Phone. I actually have both those apps.
Yeah. And they got ads for app stores. You got logos of credit cards.
Yep.
You got Miami Beach there. Park Mobile's logo, Pay by
Fast and
Phone's
easy
logo.
parking payments. I mean, they're like promoting that business, and a
It's
phone
an
number
ad.
there. Yeah.
It's a billboard here.
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
I'll show you like another one.
Okay.
And this one is from Fort Lauderdale.
Ah,
You see a commonality there?
my God. Credit cards. I see 3 credit cards.
Yeah. And the
Visa,
app
MasterCard,
stores.
American Express, app stores. Yep.
I mean, how do I get my my logo up there? That's
Yeah,
what I
I
want to
know.
know.
So how about mixed nuts? We might as well
Yeah,
get in on this.
exactly. Like this is the scam, and it's got little Fort Lauderdale logo there,
Ah,
all this good stuff. So, point is,
So
they're all doing it.
is the crux mostly, Kerry, that they need to be standardized? They
Yeah,
have to have, like, federal they have to abide by the federal standard. They can't all go off in their different little, what do you want, fiefdoms, and have their little,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, you don't want the people of Portlandia to say,
Portlandia. Right.
red stop signs are ugly. We're going to do green because green, it's natural. It's environmentally friendly,
Oh God. I think you
and
just
we
gave
hate
Seattle an idea.
and we
Or
hate
San Francisco.
stopping and we hate stopping at red lights. We're going to stop on
At
green.
green
We're
lights.
going to go
Oh
on
God.
red.
Oh.
And then we're going to laugh at the out of towners who aren't in on the joke.
Mm.
That's why the MUTCD was created.
Yep.
And it really works extremely well for everything else except parking. Nobody's challenged it. I found one case from a pro se in Hartford back in the
Mhm.
early 2000s, but like most pro ses, he was a little bit off the wall. Me,
Mm.
I'm a former attorney. I know paperwork. I know how to create it. I know how to read it and how to bounce back at these guys. But what, let me give you a little secret. So I created something and then I got to get going shortly called the
Sure.
Dunleavy Doctrine. The
Yeah.
Dunleavy Doctrine is based on a guy who lived in New York City at 1251 6th Avenue in a 5-story walk up. He paid $38 a month for a rent controlled apartment.
Oh my God.
This was in
Wow.
the late 60s.
Huh.
Well, before it was Mobil, Standard Oil of New Jersey, Exxon, wanted to build a new headquarters, the Rockefeller Center
Oh
extension.
boy. Yeah.
And they wanted his building, and everybody took the money except
Except for
Charles.
him.
And because it was rent controlled, there was no means in the statute of getting him out. There was
Mhm.
no legal means to get him out as long as he paid his rent
Yeah.
and, abided by the conditions. Well,
Yep.
he tied them up. He had simultaneous lawsuits running in U.S. District Court, Southern District, Supreme Court, New York, which is the trial level. It's not the Supreme Court of the state.
Of the state.
And
Right.
he was having hearings in the building department and you name it, every regulatory complaint he could get. And he tied them up for months. And it was costing Exxon $250,000 plus per week
Oh.
in construction penalties, in because they had all the contracts signed,
Mm.
and taxes and temporary space for all their employees that was scattered throughout Rockefeller Center. I heard, and I don't know if it's true, that at one point they offered him $2 million in 1960s money, and he laughed at them. So
Wow.
finally, they couldn't get him out legally. The contractor brought in a tenant removal specialist.
Oh wow.
So the first thing a tenant removal specialist would do is break the lock on the front door so vagrants and criminals could easily get into the building and stay there.
Mm.
Then they disconnected the sewer system. Then water, electric, gas. Well, he still stayed throughout all of this.
My God.
And I think he was taking showers at the Y, whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
It was a whack job. He was unhinged. But finally, what I think happened, I don't know, have any evidence of this, but I think they released like 1,000 rats one night on his floor. He got
Oh.
bitten by a rat. So he left his home and to go to the hospital, and he didn't get back real quick. And
Oh,
by
boy.
the time he got back, there was a pile of rubble. The building was gone. The case was moot. End of discussion. Well, then New York Telephone, and I really got to get going soon.
Sure.
They tried to build a new switching station in Lower Manhattan. They had a whole fire, a whole bunch of stuff happened, and nobody had phone service in Lower Manhattan for months.
Mm.
And the the Chinese immigrants objected, and they found Charles. So Charles wrote a book about Exxon called Up the Rockefellers, and then he wrote a book about the Chinese called Up the New York Telephone Company. He was crazy. He eventually
Wow.
sued our printing company. That's how we found out about him. We did legal printing, and a federal judge for collusion for $28 million. Luckily, the government defended us and kicked the case. So I'm using the same thing. I've hit complaints to the FTC, the Florida Attorney General, the Florida CFO, the SEC, because a lot of the bonds the parking authorities issued are backed by illegal signage, illegal revenue flows. They need to disclose that. And I've even sent a letter off to the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, and I actually triggered an investigation by the Florida Department of Transportation, the Office of the Investigator General. So this is asymmetric warfare at its finest.
Yep.
They can throw as many lawsuits and lawyers at me as they like, but I am ready and I can't wait.
And I think you're going to get free parking for the rest of your life.
I
Kerry.
would say so. Even in Monopoly. They
Yeah.
will not charge you when you play Monopoly in the future.
Yeah, well, I'm worried about pass and go and not collecting my $200.
That's exactly it. But you never know. Community chest, bank error in your favor, collect 200. You could end up with 400.
Well, Kerry, it's really quite the story. I mean,
Amazing. Wow.
I mean, and what the big takeaway that I have from this is that you are doing
It's
you've
beautiful.
done an amazing service for really the country, because this
I would
goes
say
on
so.
everywhere. And
Should
you've
be on Mount
you've
Rushmore,
really
man.
unearthed something here that now really they're on their back feet. They're kind of trying to find a way to get around what you've unleashed on them. And
Yep.
I like your
Luck.
chances.
I would say so.
It's
Glad
win,
you're on our
lose, or
side.
draw. Win, lose, or draw. The public knows now. That first interview with CBS 12, it's upwards of 50,000 views for a local parking ticket story, right? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. The other one just got posted this morning. That'll probably get more. Then this story is going to go national because it's a national issue. They're all doing it. I mean, I looked at signs from Boston, from Denver, from Chicago, all over. They're all doing it.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, Kerry, with respect to your time, so appreciate you coming on. I'll play that video after you're gone. So we'll play it for our podcast so people can see the video
absolutely.
version and they'll hear the audio of the. But again, so appreciate you coming on today. It was great having you as a guest.
I'm really honored that you had me. Send me the link. I will send it out to my Substack. I've got 55,000 people on that Substack.
Wow.
And about a third of them actually open up my emails. If you haven't opened it yet, open it, khlfsn.substack.com, or you can just go to parkscam.com or kerrylutz.com. It'll all take you to the same place.
And you're still on YouTube. I see some of your videos on YouTube.
Yes.
So
yeah, well, we're suppressed there. We're censored. But YouTube and Google, they got a wake-up call coming, Apple, because they're going to be parties to this lawsuit very shortly. Because one other complaint I made was to the App Store saying, you're catering to an app, you say it's 4+ or suitable for everyone, and yet minors are giving out mining data, harvesting data on minors, and helping to bring in illegal cash flow to municipalities. Haven't heard back yet, but if they don't, I'll include them in the suit. The more the merrier.
And the one thing that I just wanted to jump on real quick before you go. A friend of mine from the Midwest I told him about he actually saw your video on the CBS. He mentioned about he's in data, basically data systems and protecting against fraud. He worked for a major bank in the Midwest. He says one of the biggest issues with these QR codes is that many times you don't know what you're opening up your phone to, and they're getting all your data, and in many cases an unscrupulous person could overlay a different QR code.
They've done it.
Yeah,
They've done it.
and they've got all your data, and you get in your bank and
Harder with an iPhone, honestly. That's more of a Android issue, and I'm not pushing one over the other. I'm just saying the
Right.
security aspects of the Android are not nearly as good as Apple's, but they're both perpetrating this fraud on the American public.
Right.
I perceive to be a fraud, and they're endangering our youth by enabling their geolocation, their phone number, their license plate to be harvested and shared with
Yep.
third parties, and they use it for marketing. I get a monthly marketing missive from Park Mobile and Pay by Phone. So, all right, guys. Hey, thank you so much. Shoot me the link and we'll get it out
Will do.
there.
Thanks, Kerry. Go get him.
Kerry, it's been an honor. Take no
Likewise.
prisoners.
All right, guys.
Take care now.
You got it. Wow. Rich,
He's-
unbelievable.
Yeah, he's an impressive guy. He really is.
You're telling me. Oh, I'd love to be a mock juror for him.
Well,
If he was doing a-
I follow his. I've been following his financial survival network for really
Wow.
about 5-6 years. Before I met him, I knew of him before I met him. Yeah, and it's mostly related to. It's kind of like around precious metals, mining companies,
Sure.
bigger picture items, stuff related to the Fed. The economy in general, kind of just business related stuff like that. He doesn't do too much on the politics and stuff, but great. He has great guests and
Very resourceful. I mean,
oh,
this guy knows
he's a
his stuff.
font of knowledge. Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
like my God, you can just listen to him as we did.
Yep.
We've been taken to school. We really.
And you
just
know what?
learned-
A lot of people do pay those tickets because of the inconvenience. Now, it's a
No
little
doubt.
different with a traffic ticket because you have options. And I might as well piggyback here on what Kerry Lutz said. If you ever do get a ticket, number one, it depends on the spelling of your last name. If you happen to have a last name that starts with an A, B, or C, you're in good shape, and here's why. Number one, the first thing is it's all alphabetized. So if you do go to court and the cop is running late and they're already through the A, B's, and C's of last names, guess what? You walk. And the cop shows up, it's too late. So that's one advantage. The second thing I'd highly recommend, because not everyone has the ABC last name. Mine, I'm in the H's, you're in the M's. So you could always delay the proceeding. In other words, if there's a date set up, you say, guess what? I'm not available. I'm out of town. And when that happens, they reschedule. When that officer has all his ducks lined up in a row, 99 out of 100 times, he or she will not show up because they have everything set up on that first date so they can get their cut, their commission, whatever it is, their reward for issuing those citations. But if all of a sudden things are shifted, that changes. That's like throwing a monkey wrench into their plans. So,
Yeah, it's a total numbers game. They just understand
100%. And you could easily, I've defended myself in court before. I'm more than capable. Anybody really is. But if you're not sure, then you go to one of these ticket clinics. You can do a course online, or you could just hire a law firm. You pay them $100, whatever it is, maybe 200, and they get the ticket thrown out. So there are options on that front in addition to parking. Parking's a little bit more complex, which is why I'm really glad you had Kerry on.
Well, and I know you're pressed for time, so I'm going to play this clip real quick. As promised, I want to play the
yes.
clip that we saw Friday night here,
Okay.
and it's self-explanatory.
Day at the beach ends with a parking ticket, and now one driver is filing a federal lawsuit against several South Florida cities centered around those new parking apps. CBS 12's Victoria DeCarnis has been digging into the claims. She joins us live from Riviera Beach tonight with why the system may be stacked against us. Victoria.
Hey, Jim, Kerry Lutz says that ticket was more than just frustrating. He says it exposed a much bigger problem on how parking is enforced, not only in Palm Beach County, but across the country. We've all been there. You spend the day in town, come back to your car, and find a ticket.
It was just a shock to me, and I kept thinking, I must be wrong here.
Kerry Lutz says that's what happened to him after a day on Singer Island when he returned to his car and found a ticket on his windshield. He says he looked for a pay-to-park sign and found this.
And I see a sign there, but it's got a QR code on it. That's not in the code. It's got a beach ball, a beach umbrella, sand, and a wave, which I realized later the wave was for the tsunami of tickets that they were writing because nobody sees these signs.
That led to a federal lawsuit filed against the town of Palm Beach, the cities of West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Riviera Beach, Delray Beach, and Fort Lauderdale, along with the parking app companies Park Mobile, Pay by Phone, and One Parking. The suit claims these cities have shifted parking to app-based systems, leaving drivers little choice but to use private apps to park.
Yep.
I don't want to pay for parking in the first place.
I don't have a lot of options if I don't use my phone.
Lutz argues many of the signs don't mean federal traffic control standards.
These are parking signs.
The law says parking signs must have a white background with red or green lettering.
Red means no, green means yes.
He says many signs don't warn about citations and can be confusing.
The Florida law specifically says unless a valid traffic control device is posted properly and is legible, no enforcement can be done.
He also argues drivers are being forced into private contracts just to park.
You're consenting to data sharing, effectively waiving your privacy rights.
And for Lutz, this is more about one ticket.
I think when the court sees this, it's going to be an eye-opener.
Wow.
Wow. So you imagine going to court, you're
So good.
like a second year, first year, attorney, whatever you call the prosecutor.
Sure.
And you got him on the other side as a defense lawyer. I'd be shaking a little bit. He's pretty good, right?
He knows his stuff. Boy,
Yeah.
am I glad.
He's a
I would be
detail-oriented
more than
guy.
thrilled if they got rid of all this ridiculous parking. You know, even if I want to go to Starbucks as an example, not to give them a free plug, but let's just say any coffee company. I'm in downtown Miami and I have a gig and I need to have a cup of joe. Well, guess what? I got to pay for parking just to get my coffee. And
Right.
that too is ridiculous. So
Yeah,
that again
sadly,
is
it
one
is-
example.
Yeah, I think the idea or the day of free parking, I think, is gone because
Yeah.
like everyone, they're just all looking for revenue
Like
streams.
even if I
and
want to visit a
monetization.
friend, go to Miami Beach, I got to freaking pay for parking. I mean,
it's
it's
crazy.
outrageous.
Yeah, it's
really
a
is.
sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
But it's the way things are now. It's like, honestly, if they can't monetize you, you're not alive if you're not being monetized.
Yeah.
Monetize for your protection, right?
Kerry is like the Incredible Hulk when it comes to fighting parking. You want him on your side. I think I just gave him a free ad.
I mean, and good for him. That episode's got like 50,000 views already.
God
I mean,
bless.
it's gone viral. I mean, I've
Yep.
done my share. I've been sharing it all over the place.
I'm
But,
going to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even quantify how big a deal this is for
Yep.
everyone in the country. That it's
Oh my
starting
God.
here, and he's setting kind of like like a pebble in the pond here,
Yep.
and it's going to reverberate out as people are going to use this as case law going
Mhm.
forward. Whether it's small or large scale. Because you never know how it could really just resonate in some of the areas where people have just been abused and
Well-
accepted as just this is now the way things are. And
And I'll give you another example. When I lived in LA, they had street cleaning. So, just like you have snow removal on certain sides, you have to move your car if you can. That is, if your car's not buried in 6 feet of snow, then you have to somehow move your car to the other side. Otherwise, you get a citation. So they have street cleaning in LA, and I remember this specific. I think it was Wednesdays, Thursdays, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And everyone had to park their car on the other side, or you just had to make a day of it and go to the mall and
Right.
spend money that you didn't want to. And then by the time it's 1:45, okay, I'm driving back and I have to find a parking spot. Boy, I do not miss that. Let me tell you, don't miss it at all.
No.
So
Well, great
Great
show
amazing.
today.
Love
We're
this.
gonna
Love the
try to
guests.
keep this momentum going up.
Yeah.
We gotta find more guests to have on. This is fun when we have guests on.
It is.
Because it's great. We can do stuff that's. I mean, we had our friend Elise on. Elise's
Elise,
still out there
Boca Elise,
bopping.
she was great.
She's plugging away. She's doing
Dancing
her
and
thing.
all.
Yeah, she's doing really
Love
well, and we'll probably have her back on in the next couple of weeks. Just
Well,
kinda-
she's got a lot to report on. I
She
mean,
really
she's been
does.
everywhere, like
Yeah,
Johnny Cash, if I can
She,
quote
she
him.
is a force of nature, that lady.
Yes, she is, no doubt.
But Phil, I know you got to run. Thanks for
Yeah.
taking the time and joining us today.
Absolutely.
And everyone else, we're gonna send this to Kerry. Kerry will show this on his Substack, which will
Yep.
forever be in his debt for doing so.
Absolutely.
And thanks again. And please follow us on Spotify and Apple and all the other platforms. I'll put this also on the YouTube Mixed Nuts Nation YouTube channel for those to see the video version, which is important because Kerry showed a lot of pictures and a lot of just examples of some of the we want to call it illegal, or it is illegal signage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so to look out for, so know what you're dealing with when you're out in public. And boy, I think did a great service for everybody today.
It certainly did. This has been commendable. He should receive a key to every city that has enforced this illegally, as far as I'm concerned.
Phil, I dare say this might be our best podcast we've done to date.
I would say so. I concur.
Just nipping out and sunning my balls.
That is hard to top. It really is. I mean, a cherry on top, maybe, but that is hard to top, I have to say. And
Go back
Dr.
in the
Phil
archives, people, and find actually, that might be a face for radio.
Yeah, if my wife
Sorry
ever
about that,
found out that
It's
I
there
was
too.
sunning my balls, I'd
Sunning my
be
balls.
steered like a yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
So-
there. It's there on their face for radio with Richard Marks.
Yeah, and that's on my
Spotify,
demo
Apple.
reel too, by the way. For
Yeah.
celebrity voices I've done for radio and podcasts. So I have the Dr. Phil spot because it was just a perfect segue. Oh my
Yes.
God.
All right, everybody.
Ah,
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Same time, same bad place.
Hunter's Blend Coffee, premium coffee for freedom-loving Americans. Many coffee importers view the world very differently than you do and would support lobbyists that fight against the Second Amendment, hunting, and our God-given freedoms. No matter where you buy your coffee or who roasts it, someone had to import the green coffee beans. Well, we are the coffee buyer, importer, and roaster. So from the farmer to your mug, you can feel confident that your morning coffee has been safely in the hands of patriots. Hunter's Blend Coffee.